Are you excited for tomorrow?
Is tomorrow Saturday?
No, it's the first day of school.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go to that.
But it's mandatory.
Ooh. Give up.
Elizabeth, you shouldn't be teaching. I mean, I can't think of anyone less suited to being a teacher.
This is a middle school teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's a middle school teacher that drinks, curses in front of the kids, does a little marijuana, shows movies every class, and this movie
shows movies instead of teaching.
Instead of teaching, yes, and this movie's called Bad Teacher. I'm like, that's regular teacher in America.
Yeah, it sounds like this guy I knew who was a science teacher, and that dude was like 50 years old, and that dude was always, you could always smell the scotch on him, and whenever he played a film, like I'm talking about old real film, you could see the smoke going through the light of when it was getting projected.
Yes, but he wasn't a hot chick. So
Yeah.
No.
that didn't lend itself to him getting away with everything.
No, we seriously had a teacher in high school. I never had her, but they said she was always falling asleep, and she actually kept a bottle of whiskey in her drawer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if she had tenure at that high school or what to let her get away with that. But
Well, if she was a hot chick, then
she was not.
Okay. So, well, you know
No.
what? Sometimes you don't have to be hot if you know how to give head. That's all I'm saying.
You don't have to do what?
If you know how to give head.
And nobody knows that better than Cyrus.
And what class did you teach?
Most of the rest of the teachers look like that, like history teacher in here. They're like all old and pathetic, and they're like, yeah, she's kind of fat, but you know what? I'll take what I can get.
You know what? We look at this teacher because Cameron Diaz plays the teacher and subject here, the title teacher here, and a teacher who looked like that would be fucking a 13-year-old. And we'd see on the think about all the teachers
That's
that
true.
we always hear like
Mary Beth Letourneau.
yeah,
Why would
13-year-old.
you assume she would be fucking a 13-year-old if she was hot?
Have you ever not heard those stories where it's like 25-year-old blonde sexy woman found having sex with 13-year-old student? We've had
like
about 3 stories like that.
I'm not sure that makes it the standard.
Hey, you can always hope.
Let's just be happy that this movie wasn't about that subject matter, because that would be
Right.
fucking weird.
There was a moment I was afraid in it. I was like, oh, shit. But no, thankfully.
See, I do believe in reincarnation, and on my second time on this earth, I hope that by the time that is normal, that blonde teachers, hot blonde teachers are fucking their students.
Is that why you repeated the 10th grade 8 times?
People said I had no initiative back then. Hey, I gave it 3 shots. Didn't get anywhere.
Sitting
back
there
then.
with a big ass beard and a whiskey mustache, still trying to flirt with the teacher.
Hey, teacher, you look nice today. Teacher, I brought you 2 apples today.
You're older than me.
He's just a perfectionist.
Yeah.
He just wanted to
Jesus.
get it perfect.
People say I didn't have any ambition back then. No, man. And
Just do what I do. Go through the Billy Madison route. Just have something to prove.
I was fucking what you call Matthew McConaughey of high school. I just get older and they all stay the same.
See, the thing is,
so there's a tight desk right here.
Well, I'm about 4 years old, so it would make sense for me because I like older chicks.
And you are mechanical, and women
that's
love
right.
that. Yeah,
16-year-olds are pretty hot when you're 4. Yeah.
I like Cameron Diaz in this movie. I
Which
like
is the first time we've seen her in anything we liked her in for some time.
Well, I don't know. What was the last thing we saw her
every
in?
time
Green
I see
Hornet.
Oh, the last fucking thing she did was that goddamn shitty movie with Tom Cruise.
No, the last thing she did was Green Hornet.
Oh, well, shit. That was shitty, too, because I completely
You have
forgot.
just flunked Movies 101.
She hasn't had a real appealing career for a while now. Like it's like,
True.
oh, it's Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, it's been trickling downward.
Oh, you're thinking that movie Night and Day.
Night and Day, yeah.
Yeah, which was pretty recent, and she was annoying in that. Now, I did see in a movie that I liked her in called My Sister's Keeper.
Okay.
Where she kind of played like in this movie.
Oh, you're the guy who saw that.
Yes, I'm that one guy. And some other dude that was as sensitive as I was.
I suppose had to see it.
It was like someone actually came.
Okay, I was the only guy that paid.
Started up.
Hey, man, the reels are backwards. Does it matter?
Actually makes her eyes less crooked. Have you ever noticed that she's got some?
Yeah,
crazy-
she's got a very asymmetrical face.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like a pretty girl who mouthed off and got punched in the face and then just had to go with it.
Something about Cameron Diaz, though. Every time she starts to smile a little too wide, I think it's going to turn into that video for Black Hole Sun by SoundCloud. Look at that big serpent snake unhinging jaw mouth thing going on.
It was kind of sad watching this movie. I mean, she does look like the character who she's playing is, which is a chick who's partied way too fucking hard.
Yeah.
And has never given a shit about anything.
That's
and
right.
It has just been going through a roller coaster ride of fun until she realized, wow, I have to be fucking responsible now. Fuck.
No, until she realized I'm almost 40, and at this point I don't have as much sexy leverage as I had back then. Even though
It's one of those things where I mean, it's not like she's not attractive, but she's looking kind of leathery. The crow's feet are coming in.
I don't
know
what
if she got her lips done, but they're like, yeah, Cyrus is right. She's got that smile that's like that ear to ear Kool-Aid smile where she
Kool-Aid.
if she was like try to eat a popsicle, her head might fold back on itself.
You make it like she gonna bust in the room saying, "Oh yeah."
The only thing is, I think her lipstick might have had more more work done than her actual face, because that lipstick never fails. It's like that's the one thing about her that doesn't age is her goddamn lipstick.
I heard she's gonna be the joke in the next
I
Batman
was going to
movie.
say, like, I would expect her to turn around and go, like, wait till they get a load of me.
In its own way, though, this is oddly a vanity project for her. You
Yeah.
know, because it's like you see her playing a lot of roles that are kind of like, okay, a woman who's getting older but is still hot and is always kind of maybe a little bit uptight in the way that cuter younger actresses play these type of roles and get away with it. And now this is this role where she's just kind of a badass. She's
Yeah.
like, fuck it, I know I'm hot, I don't care. I mean, there's a scene in here where she does like a what is the Dukes of Hazzard, Daisy Duke,
Right,
a
car
car
wash.
wash sequence that's like so
she
I mean,
just-
just
yeah.
gratuitously masturbatory.
yeah.
She does the Carl
Like,
Jr.
come on.
commercial. Yeah, that's
It's
what
like,
she
come on, you ain't that hot.
Hey, when I saw it, when I saw it, it made me gratuitously masturbatory. So, if she's hot, man, I don't care what you say. Cameron Diaz is beautiful. Now, she's not the same girl she was in The Mask. That's the thing. She's gotten older. We have
no girl is the girl she was in The Mask.
No,
I mean, like that Megan Fox bending over the car in Transformers and Cameron Diaz stepping out of that limo in The Mask. Those are two scenes where you just like, it takes your breath away.
She's
You're
like, Kate's
I've
coming out
never
of the swimming
seen-
pool in Fast Times. at
Yes, that's
Ridgemont
another
High.
yeah,
one. It's
fucking world.
I've never
yeah.
seen anything like this
No,
before.
world just stopped spinning.
Yeah.
When she came out of a movie, it's just like, God damn. No, she's just gotten older. That's it. And she's an older, beautiful woman. She's like, I think she's 38 now, and I think she's gorgeous. But she realizes that, listen, I'm getting older. People know that I don't have the same sex appeal as I did back then. I'm just going to just say fuck it and play that kind of character that says fuck it. And in this movie, that's what she does.
Doesn't she need that? I mean, I feel like in her career, this was a perfect move for her. It really was.
Yes.
Hey, do I think it went a little too far with the, hey, look, I'm still sexy? Yeah. Because she is sexy, but it was a little desperate. But at the same time, seeing her smoking, drinking, talking shit, we've never really seen her play this kind of role
No,
before.
it's good. You're getting women to do more raunchy comedies these days.
Yeah.
They're stretching. So throw this on the fire, another log on the fire of all these that have been coming out.
Yeah.
But Bridesmaids, move over.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, her career needed this movie, honestly, and I can only hope it does well, because I actually was shockingly surprised at how much I liked it and how much I liked her in it.
I liked her a lot. No, that's the thing. She made the movie for me. And I think everybody in their career at some point should take this kind of role. We always see people who play, because this is somewhat, it's not a villain, but it's a dark character.
Sure.
And everybody needs to kind of take that role. They play a dark character. They're known for being too sweet or too clean or whatever.
too bland.
Yeah, or too bland. We've seen comedians do it all the time. Robin Williams is one of the ones that we was like, damn, he plays a good creepy ass guy. Remember 1 hour photo?
Hell
It's like, I mean, there was one guy.
He's
stopped
still
taking
creepy when I see him in interviews.
I stopped taking my photos of Walgreens after that.
I just remember one word that summed up there was one line of dialogue in that movie Gary Cole said that summed it up for me as an audience member. He just looked at Robin Williams in the movie like, you're just fucking with me. I was like, I'm fucking with everybody right now.
I said that throughout Bicentennial Man. The whole movie. Just looking at him as a
I think it was
robot.
more
Like,
like,
yeah.
you must be fucking with me.
But in this movie, we keep talking about kind of a dark character she is. Character doesn't give a fuck. She plays she really plays a gold digging bitch who, when her fiance, kind of a dork but smart enough to realize, like, hey, look, you taking all my money, I'm catching this shit early, your bags are packed, get the fuck out. She's quitting school on that day thinking, I'm going to go home and get married and, this guy's going to take care of me the rest of my life. Well, when she makes this big scene of leaving school and sees her bags packed and husband or fiance telling her, you got to go, she 3 months later has to take her job back at the high school.
Shame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She ain't done that since her sorority days, taking that walk of shame
Yeah,
like that.
she knows how that jock felt when he came back, like after 4 years, still wearing his Letterman jacket, going to visit the coach.
Except her time span was 3 months later, so she's coming back in there. They had the same misfits that would annoy anybody. She's like, shit, I got to deal with these people again for another 12 months, and I'm not going to be rich like I thought I was. I'm driving this shitty car now. but there's a guy that works at the school played by Justin Timberlake.
A new substitute that comes there.
Yeah, and the guy's a substitute because, and what's his name? Scott. He's a substitute because the guy obviously comes from some kind of money. I mean, he's just doing this as a hobby. He's just something to keep him just from staying in the house all day.
He's an uber nerd.
He
let's
is,
face it.
yeah.
He's a guy who's like probably went to super restrictive all guy private schools,
Catholic
and,
private
yeah,
schools.
exactly.
He's
and
kinda-
then
yeah.
goes to church like on Saturday and Sunday every week. You know,
Yeah, he's not
one
that
those
kind of
guys.
nerd comic book superhero type nerd. He's the kind of
No.
nerd where it's like, my life was so conservative, I'm just a dork now.
Yeah, exactly.
really does talk like this.
Yeah.
In a role that
I love
Justin
bleaching.
Timberlake was perfectly chosen to play.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's like a white Urkel. That's
Well,
kind of what you reminded me of.
such a like in juxtaposition to who he really is. I mean, they even got to have him singing at one point, really bad white boy singing, and you're like, wow, it's
minute.
the parallel Earth, Justin Timberlake.
Hey, welcome back. Bunch of us are going out tonight to see Period 5 play. Do you want to come?
Period 5?
Yeah, the teacher band.
I'd rather get shot in the face.
Hey!
Hey!
So, are you guys coming to the palace tonight? My band's gonna do a few songs.
You're in Period 5.
You're looking at the new rhythm guitarist and backup vocalist. Should be fun.
Should be amazing. Lynn, you want to come?
I'm sorry, isn't that what he does for a living anyway?
Well, it's hard to tell with all the auto tuning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You and Cyrus can argue about that.
That Justin Timberlake we saw in the movie, I think that's Justin Timberlake at home.
Yeah,
we
that's
don't
him
see
for real.
him. Yeah, that's him. We don't.
Thank
Just
you,
Clark
ladies.
Kent
Thank you.
disguise.
Thank you. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh well, thank God.
Oh, I thought they never leave.
Can we please get back to some calculus around here?
You're laughing, but his real voice sounds like that anyway.
I know his real voice is just one octave off of a Freudlaven. That time he's all punked and they stole his dog. He's like,
Oh, my God.
If they take my dogs.
Yeah, he's like, the IRS came and took everything. Oh my God, Mom.
Oh
Yeah, he called his
my!
mother. Mom, they took the dog.
Took it all.
And it's like his street cred just went out the window. That's why he's like, fuck it, I just need to be a comedian now because I ain't got no more street cred left. But this guy, he's the hero of all the kids at the school because he's rich and he drives a good car, very nice car. Now, she puts her sights on him, and that gets her to having another enemy at the school. This girl named Amy Squirrel, played by, what's her name?
Lucy Punch.
Lucy Punch, who's British, I think.
Yeah, she is. She's
Yeah.
She was the irritating laugh girl from Hot Fuzz.
That was her. I knew her from somewhere.
I keep forgetting her from because I'm thinking about her from that last Woody Allen movie, and she's in Ella Enchanted.
Oh yeah, she's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff.
And she's now she already doesn't like Cameron Diaz's character.
Well, she seems to be like the only person who can see through her.
Yeah, who, by the way, is Elizabeth her name is Elizabeth Housley, her Cameron Diaz's character, but she doesn't like Elizabeth, man. She's like, you know what? I know that you're showing movies all day long. I know teaching is not your priority. You're missing kids bullying each other in the cafeteria. She's like, I take learning seriously, and you don't.
It's funny because she comes from a good place initially.
Yeah.
She's like, this is just, what's the deal? Why you got to be like that when these kids need education? But as it starts to turn into a real competition, like on any level, the nasty side of her.
Well, that's the thing. It's a
Like with any woman.
Yeah, you get a bunch of cackling hens anywhere. It's gonna be like that. No, it's already competition in that she wants her to like just be a teacher, but then she sees her like making the eyes at like Scott, Justin Timberlake's character, and she's like, well, I got a crush on this guy too. This woman's after everything I fucking won in school, so it's on at that point. It's a grudge match between those two, and that is where the movie has the most humor, and that is where it also has the biggest faults for me, because I think like the rivalry between those two is funny. I mean, seeing them try to one up each other, I thought it was going to be bad. There's even a point in here where they do a good setup with what was that Michelle Pfeiffer movie?
Oh, good Lord.
Dangerous Minds.
Yeah, Dangerous
they
Minds.
play that. What was that song? A Gangster's Paradise, a Coolio song.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, my mama
Gangster's
thinks that my
Paradise.
mind is gone. They playing that song from Dangerous Minds, and they set up that whole stare down between Cameron Diaz and that girl Amy Squirrel, and I thought that was pretty funny. But then that rivalry doesn't seem to really manifest itself very well in the movie, to where by the end it was like, I don't know if that went
I
anywhere.
thought this movie was full of all these great ideas that never really manifested themselves into anything. It's like it was just kind of random way. It was bouncing around to all these different things. Like, oh, hey, here's Jason Segel. He's an ugly fat guy, but he's kind of real. And,
yeah, he's the gym teacher who has the crush on.
but it would
Cameron
come to
Diaz.
him, and then it would just leave him for so long. I'd forget he's in the movie.
Yeah, you're right. The movie did a lot of that. It did a lot of jumping around and just kind of left you wondering what happened to those other characters that I thought were pretty funny, but it's like, is that it? Are we done with them?
Here's the
And
thing.
then they pop up like 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes into this film, I suddenly realized this was going to be another one of those movies. There's not much structure at all.
Right.
No one really cared about the plot when they were writing it. It was a series of sketch comedy ideas that were sort of scrunched together into a movie. Honestly, you said it earlier, Leon, perfectly, when you said this felt like late season Kids in the Hall, when they would go, you know what, we're just going to keep a theme for the whole episode.
Yeah.
So it's not really a story that really fits together all that well, but all the sketches kind of are like related characters. You know what? And I said, I'm either going to get mad at that and sit here and be pissed that all the things don't work out, or I'm just going to try and watch it to see how actually funny the bit pieces are on their own. And honestly, the characters are they're so earnestly weird at points, and they're so funny watching the transition of some of them as they change, that I was enjoying it based entirely on that. It didn't make a lot of sense.
No.
And certainly, like, people act in ways no person ever would act. So if that's going to bug you, like, if you know right now you can't get past that, then you're going to want to skip this.
And that's the thing with this movie, because as much as you're kind of waiting for an actual plot to happen, because I think that we are so used to seeing that in these types of comedies, where you're like, okay, let's boil it down to the real plot so we can just get this over and done with. But the movie doesn't do that, and I kind of found myself appreciating that, because I'm like, you know what? Sure, it may have like a thinly loose plot going on, but the scenes that I'm seeing, a good majority of them are all funny. And,
you know what?
And I'm just laughing through them, and especially at the characters, because you're right, they are odd, but they're a good odd, not an odd so much like the guy who directs the Napoleon Dynamite movies, where he just gets odd people just to be odd for a scene, and then you're done with them.
Well,
I mean, they're actually
I don't know.
good odd.
I mean, to me, they were artificially odd. It's like this movie does a lot of what I'm seeing in movies these days, and comedies I think is lazy, where you have a character who's passionate about something, whatever it is, they're passionate about it, and then you have your main character who just looks at him with kind of a sneer, like, I'm completely above being passionate about this thing you're geeking out on.
you're
so
not-
I will
you're not
make
wrong.
everybody laugh at you because you care about
It's
something.
just
It's the bully of comedies.
Yeah,
really.
it's like the whole thing with Michael Higgins, John Michael Higgins, who's a great character actor.
Yeah, he's Principal Willie Snurr.
Right. Okay. So they
Wally
give him,
Snurr.
They give him a funny name, and he loves dolphins. And then after that, there's really nothing else. He's actually like a decent guy, but they're like, oh, but he loves dolphins, so let's laugh at him for that. It's like, all right, that's
and
kind
he's
of
easily manipulated and all that. I mean, when you pick it apart, or you try and look at it from a distance, you're like, okay, this movie has a very severe anti-intellectual bent, to be clear.
Well,
but probably no more so than the classic Bill Murray comedies did.
It reminded me more of an Adam Sandler comedy. I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, I could nitpick it apart and saying like, well, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, but honestly, what it just comes down to is like, even the things it did right, I didn't find all that funny. I mean, I had lots of chuckles through it, but the only time I had a genuine laugh, which was maybe 2 or 3 times, were the scenes with Thomas Lennon. And I don't know if I just have a thing about Thomas Lennon, where he's
That's the
funny
guy from
Reno 911.
Yeah.
But all the scenes that had him in it, there was always something in those that actually made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, what did he play in the movie?
He was the guy who was from the teaching association who had the test.
The test,
The scene where she has to seduce him to get the test. That I found that very funny.
See, that's one of the things that I agree with in this movie. Like, a lot of it is just suffering from being random. It's also very funny in some parts. I think I laughed more than you did, Leon. But it's very random. It's almost like a Pee Wee's Herman, like Pee Wee's Big Adventure type of random, where they have all these weird cameos by all these side characters who just come in every now and then to do something funny. But Pee Wee Herman was his kind of a strength of it being random, because the whole movie was like that. This kind of suffers from being random because it's trying to tell a story, and it's also trying to have some sort of character arc that doesn't. The character arc in here does not really work. We're talking about that scene of her having to steal the test. She becomes she in the movie, her real motivation for coming back and working is that she wants a new pair of tits.
Yeah,
Which
she
is
get a pair of tits. She can attract a rich guy, and then she can get out.
It's a very noble cause, which I completely support.
I'm behind that all the way.
Which I was like, wow, this
but
movie is about a chick who just needs a good set of tits.
And she's absolutely right.
And she, you know what? And there's a good lesson. Yeah, no, and there's a good lesson from there. Find a goal and go for it.
That's right.
But her in the movie they tried to. I felt like they tried to give you this character arc of her wanting to go in for a superficial reason, and at some point becoming an actual teacher, like becoming a decent human being and becoming a better teacher. And that kind of worked itself in, but near the end when there was no arc. It was a jump.
You're right.
which is why I appreciated it. Well, okay, I won't. Okay, the thing is, the arc that you're talking about, I think just because I want to say just because I'm used to seeing movies like that I was going to predict the ending, and with the ending of this film, I was like, wow, they didn't take it in a way I would think a conventional film would take it, and I like that.
Which is the way I think we expected was that, the kids are going to end up melting her heart.
Right.
And she's going to... No, that
Bullshit,
really is not even mildly what happened here. This woman learned to be a better teacher only because it was like, well, it was her coming to terms with the fact that she was indeed almost 40 and that this is probably the best job she can really get at this point, and this might be her last chance. So she might as well at least slouch towards mediocrity, And I kind of like that in this sense. I mean, that's how I ended up at Spill. So,
Of course. Yeah. I mean, we're all at that point now.
You could have been the best
realistic
hooker in
story.
Vegas.
You're right. You know what? But I just couldn't get past the gag reflex. It was especially the fact that they didn't turn it into yet another the kids movie. When she does have her few moments with the kids, they're very like the stuff you wish you could tell kids when they're just being all.
Sure.
She's like, "Look, you little douche! Stop being so self-obsessed.
No, I never
Get over yourself."
You're right. I never expect. I mean, that movie. This is not that kind of movie. You knew it would never go there.
It's called Bad Teacher.
Yeah, I mean, you knew that she would never. It's not that kind of film where she learns about life, love, and humanity, and all of a sudden is that kind of person. Anybody who sees this movie at the beginning and is watching it to the end doesn't expect that. I'm just saying that the point where she got to whatever the hell she was at the end, there was no real development there. It's just like, oh, well, we have to kind of make her reach some sort of point. And, the movie's about to end. We better do it now.
Yeah, it was like it was going in a completely different direction, doing everything you guys were saying, and then somebody came and said, like, yeah, but it has to end with this. So make it happen.
Because she does kind of. I mean, she is doing things. I mean, look, this movie's going to be compared to. This is no relation to Bad Santa. All right, where Billy Bob Thornton in that movie became the best human being that he possibly could,
which
was not much
even good.
But we saw a gradual move towards that, but not really here. This is more. You're right. This is more like an Adam Sandler comedy in that even some of the things that made me laugh, they got to put a camera on it and say, huh? You see that? I mean, there's a stain joke in this movie where the camera stays on that stain for a little bit. There's certain characters that say things where they got to let you dwell on that before the scene ends. But, talking about these random characters, man, I got to admit, a couple of them made me laugh hard. Phyllis Smith, who's on The Office, I think.
She, you know what? The little bit they had her in there, I thought she was very good. I loved, she was a different character. You think she's going to be Phyllis, but she's playing a different character who has this great delivery on these lines where she starts out with one motivation and ends with something else.
She had totally built that character. She felt like she had the most developed character of any of the actors in here.
And I was upset they didn't spend more time with her.
I know, because it's so interesting. Just the little ways in her dialect, she would let you know what her character was thinking and the way her brain worked, that mixture of insecurity, desperate need to be liked, and almost a shut in.
Yeah, and that's what makes it work. Is like I thought the filmmakers were really good as far as like not throwing her so much in the film that you get tired of her. You get tired of what she is. I thought they had her just enough in here to where every time you saw her on screen, you're like, oh, bad.
Yeah, in the movie, she plays like this nebbish, lonely character who you could tell she always was pushed around by somebody. She was a follower, never a leader, always wanted to please.
She was no different than one of the students there.
Yeah, exactly. She talks like this, and she just wants to do anything to make you like her. and I like that, man. Cameron Diaz.
I love how she could easily convey, just with her great acting, the conflict that she constantly has in her
And
head.
Cameron Diaz and her work together because Cameron Diaz is that pushover kind of character, that strong personality who's looking for pretty much a victim, someone who's going to always do their bidding.
And Igor.
Igor, the thing is, you can easily see them. And you could easily see them back in their high school years. If they were like 16 in high school, and if they were to met, their relationship would have been the same as it is as them as teachers.
Well, like Leon said, if Cameron Diaz is Frankenstein and she's Igor, I mean, she's that. If you've ever seen that Warner Brothers cartoon where you had Spike the dog and that little puppet that's always hanging around. What do you want to do today, Spike? Hey, Spike, we're gonna do some tests. Hey, Spike, you want to go get a bone today? And he's like, shut up.
She's not as enthusiastic.
The dog would be more like, well, I guess.
Yeah. I guess it would. That dog would be trying to turn around and go back home. It's like, come on, where are you going? Get back here.
Get your little punk ass back here.
Maybe we can do it tomorrow.
You're right. It would be more like, hey, Master, what would you like to do today? But man, there was a guy. I don't know the guy's name, but I've seen this guy in at least one other movie where he plays a burnt out hippie, and it's the guy who's just comes up. He says about 3 things in this movie, and probably has about another 2 scenes where he's in the background. But when that guy says something, he makes me laugh.
Oh, you're
I know who you're
history
talking
teacher
about.
Type guy. The
Yeah.
guy
Yeah.
falls asleep all the time.
Yeah, because
He was in
the lead singer
that
of the
guy
band.
was the principal in Freaks. No, he was the student counselor in Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
well, when he made me laugh because
A lot of the side characters had like the little tiny bits were so funny. There was the guy, and I forget the comedian's name, who plays Abraham Lincoln when they go to like.
Oh yeah, he used to be
Upright
one of the
Citizens Brigade.
Upright Citizens. Yeah, Upright
and he's
Citizens.
so funny with just like an eye roll, and he's like, "So, I can't believe I have to do this for a living," and the audience totally gets that.
Yeah, and
You're
it's
just
cool
like-
because like those. I mean, the comedians that they got for this movie are really great. I was like, wow, this is like a great like cast of comedians doing these small roles because they need to do so little. They can do so little and convey so much just because they're trained comedians, you know, where you see these actors trying to be comedians that never work.
Well, one of
and
the-
these
yeah.
guys can just like glance at the camera and you'll fucking be laughing your ass off.
Well,
just
one of the
way
things
do it.
one of the things they didn't overdo in this movie, they had a running joke, and the joke ran for about maybe 2 jokes, and that was it. Like that guy I was talking about, that the principal, what's his name?
John Michael.
John Michael. Yeah, whenever the hippie, whenever he would talk, the principal always found whatever he said funny. Nobody else found it funny, and there was one scene where he was just kind of like, he's like, well, I don't want to keep everybody here today, and that old hippie guy was like, 407 years ago, and the principal like, you're so funny, you're crazy, and like that was, and there was one other scene like that, and then they left that alone.
Yeah, that gave you a context for the school without feeling the need to bang it over your head. You're like, oh, there's a history here with all these characters together. And that was all you needed. And that made it feel oddly, despite how absurdist everything was, more real in its own way.
That's good writing, my friend.
Well, I would say
That's more like lucky improv.
Quiet you.
Cyrus, you were talking about some of the people that are walking out tonight, and I think people are going to be very split on this because
Absolutely.
they're going to be split on the humor, yes, but the way the movie resolves itself around the rivalry that occurs in it between Cameron Diaz and Lucy Punch is that's going to split people, because some people are going to be like, well, I don't know, I laughed and that really wasn't the priority of the film for me. And some people are going to be like, but no, it shouldn't have worked out that way.
Sure, it should. Because The Simpsons even taught us this lesson. It's like, hey, maybe you're right and that guy's wrong, but mind your own fucking business. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing.
Yeah, without giving away too much. It's like but I still think some people are going to be a little just thrown off. They're going to be like, I just didn't like.
Well, sure,
that
because
this way.
your protagonist is a huge bully. She's a complete bitch, and you're going to have trouble watching someone who does mean well get beaten down by this woman. I mean, ultimately she gets beat down by her own nosiness. I mean, if she had just shut the fuck up and gone, okay, whatever. I'm not sure I agree with The Simpsons on your point. I think if we did that, everything in the world would be much more fucked up than it already is. Sorry, but whistleblowers are sometimes a good thing. But,
You're talking to one.
In the context, and I am totally telling on you.
I myself, I came out arguing with myself on this movie, because I'm kind of split on some things. I was like, I can see, I don't think the script in this movie is very good. I think the story is pretty bad, actually. But again, I don't think that's the main. I like random things sometimes, and if it can make me laugh, that's the biggest thing about it. I've been going between a high rental and a low matinee, and I think that the thing that would make this like a really low matinee for me is that I really just, up until the end, no matter which direction the movie took, between the things I liked and didn't like, I had a constant, and that was Cameron Diaz. I liked her through the whole film. She wasn't overbearing, she's unlikable, but that is her character, and I'm glad to see her do this, and I think she did it well. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the ultimate low matinee on this.
Just could not break out a matinee no matter what he does. I thought this movie sucked, and the best I can say about it is a low matinee.
I didn't say the whole thing sucked.
No, I know. I'm just saying, whenever you have a movie that sucks, you still end up, but I still got to give it a matinee.
I think about the children.
I always have fun watching the conflict going on
I know,
in his
don't
head.
you?
Just like, because it's so apparent. It's like, I think But it
No. See, you think I'm Two-Face over here, and I think.
No. Two-Face makes decisions with a coin. All right,
Maybe that's what I need.
He makes a decision.
Plus 50% of the time, Two-Face makes a different decision.
Corey's got a coin. It just says matinee on both sides.
Terrible joke you're playing on him, Leon, by the way.
My shrink gave me that coin. So I go crazy. Now I like to weigh out the pros and cons because that's the way I approach it.
You make it interesting, Corey.
Yeah, I know. I like to look at the good and the bad. I always mention that, and I'm that Halls of Justice statue. Whichever way that scale tips, then that's it. And in this case, it tips towards the matinee.
Nobody more systematic.
And I'm always walking by going,
how they end up in a matinee than
exactly.
you do, Corey. I hand it to you.
You got to be detailed, man, and thorough. I am the Sherlock Holmes of the matinee, boy.
Somebody needs to fix that justice thing over there.
Exactly, boy. Thorough.
I like it.
I fell asleep and I walked out of it, and at the end, I feel like I just have to be fair and give it a matinee.
Man, you make me sound like that woman in the movie.
That's what I was saying. You just like her.
I thought that was Leon's review for a second. I was like, you doing it too?
No. I wasn't split at all. I did, the things you guys like. I mostly agree with you. Like Cameron Diaz, she carries this movie. I like that character. And some of the side characters I liked. And like I said, I got 2 or 3 good laughs, but ultimately it just kind of flatlined the whole way. Just being random, not really sticking to a theme, having good characters I like, but then they disappear and they come back. All through the movie, it kept reminding me of movies like it that I thought were better. I mean, besides the one she showed on screen, movies like Bad Santa was something very similar, except I laughed at that a lot. And School of Rock, you bring the kids in here, you have these kids that's almost like, hey, here's the new crop of the School of Rock kids, except, well, we'll show you a little bit of them, but not really. And in the end, just not enough laughs for me to give it anything more than a rental. Didn't hate it, but after seeing it once, I have no desire to see it again.
You better be careful before you become another villain, Captain Rental. You on the verge now.
Hey, man, I've given out a couple of better than sexes this year.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Hey, I'm not surprised by your review, only because I was sitting next to this guy throughout the whole movie, and the parts where I was laughing my fucking ass off. I look over, and he's just sitting there like,
I know.
He's looking over at me like, what are you laughing
I
at?
was laughing. I can hear Carlos laughing. I can hear Corey laughing. I can be like, look over there. And there's Leon just sitting there all straight faced.
I can't tell you how many times I sat in a movie with him and I laughed. I looked at him like,
I wanted to scream at him. Like I looked at him like a 5th time throughout the movie. I was like, "Laugh, you asshole! That's funny! That's funny! God damn you!"
I don't know.
And that's the thing.
Tisk.
As much as everything critical you guys have said about this movie is true, when it comes down to comedy, it's so subjective.
It totally is.
And sometimes it just has to do with what fucking mood you're in when you go into the goddamn theater. And for whatever reason, I guess I was in the mood for this one because I laughed pretty consistently throughout. There are jokes that fall spectacularly flat that you're just like, wow, that was even awkward to watch them try to make that work. But then it'll be followed up by something that really does work. And it's so rare nowadays that a comedy like this actually, I think, is this funny that I'm going to give it a matinee. It's like I said, it feels like more of a happy accident comedy than one that actually ended up getting this way by planning.
Well, I agree. I have plenty of happy accidents, but the thing is
You were one.
They had to bring a mop when the movie was done.
But I mean, yeah, you know what? It is one of those movies that it kind of it caught me off guard. I mean, I was really waiting. I was like, oh God, a comedy starring Cameron Diaz? Are you fucking kidding me? We're still trying to beat this dead horse to a pulp.
Hey, don't call her that.
But I mean, shockingly, she was hilarious in it, and I thought just the whole movie generally. I mean, when it hit its notes, it hit them high. But you're right. I mean, there are a lot of jokes in here that fall flat, but it's a comedy. I mean, I expect that. But saying that, I'm going to give it a full-on matinee just because, you know what? It made me laugh my ass off. And you guys made a comparison to fucking Adam Sandler. I was like, I wish more Adam Sandler movies were like this, honestly, because I'm dying to laugh my ass off again in another.
Well, Adam Sandler's reached this point where he tries too hard to do this, and it's just desperate, and you just feel sad for him.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this felt more like it
felt more casual.
It did, and I thought some of this. They even had a fart joke that was actually clever at the end, where I was like, that is fucking great. This could have been just a run-of-the-mill fart joke, but the line at the end of it made it fucking.
And you
snap.
are the expert of fart jokes.
And
You are a connoisseur.
Yes, I am.
It actually did one of the first funny poop jokes I've seen, other than in a Jackass movie, and as long as I can remember.
All right, goddamn it wasn't that fucking funny. Come on,
You
man.
were laughing.
You have to make me
Laugh,
laugh.
you
I
asshole.
gotta give y'all Leon.
Funny. You son of a bitch. I'll give you something to laugh at. Get over here.
What do you go? How about that?
It should have ended though with like the Jason Segel character walking in with Cameron Diaz with her jaw unhinged, eating Lucy Punch like a python. I think that would have been the
Jesus.
only sensible way to end it.
No, it would not.
Right
We
now-
all know that's what really would have happened, right?
What are you talking about?
Man.
We only did the joke earlier about her with a python. You participated in that
Right
joke.
You
now-
said the Joker, not a python.
Right now,
God's
Cyrus, I'm
sakes.
looking at you the exact same way Leon fucking looked at me.
Everybody-
Thank you for doing that to me.
Yeah, no, everybody should go in unison.
You guys I can back you up on your stupid jokes. I try and do something, you're like, no, fuck you, Cyrus. Fuck you and your stupid jokes.
No,
Now,
no,
laugh
no.
at my dumb shit.
That is
No,
that is why you failed.
I don't feel like, I don't know, the guy should be sitting on the couch like Ed McMahon.
that was a good joke, man. That was good.
There is no way that LeBron will ever beat Jordan. Call me when LeBron has 6 championships.
That's your only argument?
It's the only argument I need, Sean!
Now, who has the answer to my question? You, Chubbs.
Whoa, wait! Twilight, what do we talk about in class? Don't throw at her, throw through her.
Sign my yearbook.
Hold my balls.